Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Red Sox. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Vinny. And today we have one of those very special days, the Michael Burry miss, as we like to call it, where he files his 13F filing. We find out what the secretive value investor that everyone loves to track is doing with his portfolio. In particular, he bought Alibaba, one of our favorite stocks. We're going to talk about it right now. Yeah.
Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. Thank God.
All right. So, what's up?
No, I'm. If he bought it, he's usually early, but that means it's gonna go up.
It's not the only time he's bought it, too. And mind you, 13F filing is 45 days out of date, so who knows? Dylan and I did a separate video just actually this week about their earnings. Watch that video by all means. It's something that we both have our money in. We both track it, like we actually care about it because we're putting our money where our mouth is. Michael Burry, not this guy. He's an actor, okay? this guy, the actual real Dr. Michael Burry. I found this really nice portfolio kind of breakdown here of his most recent filing to show. So Alibaba is actually his number one holding as of right now for individual stock, and JD is number two. He actually added to both of them in the most recent quarter, really signaling that he's finds value in China. There are a few other companies here that, some kind of more notable names. HCA is a large healthcare company. Oracle switching gear. Citigroup is one Dylan and I have talked about before. We both have owned it in the past. We both given up on that company, to be honest.
0%.
Yeah, CVS is actually one I've owned it once, and then I kind of go back and forth. Definitely from a value perspective, it makes sense on paper. I'm curious to see how they can eventually unlock it. We can do a separate video on some of these others. There's a couple other big headline names here: Alphabet and Amazon. All right, Alphabet's one that I own as well, and I'm sure I know you do as well.
Do we have the? Do we know how much he added to Baba and JD?
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah, exactly. I'll show you in 1 second here. But as far as the new buys, it's HCA of America, Oracle, and Citigroup were his new buys for this most recent quarter, and all decent sized positions too, around 5% of his portfolio, which seems to be about what he tries to maintain for his typical size positions.
Yeah,
Um,
it
and
does
then
suck though, because he has no idea that Citi sucks, and it's just the worst piece of crap bank on the
yeah,
planet. He has no idea that that's not going to make him money, but that's
I
fine.
know. For a traditional value guy, he definitely has a much shorter time horizon in terms of cycling in and out of stocks than you would really think. Personally, I've owned Alibaba now for a couple of years, and I plan on owning it for the next decade. I think that's how long it's going to take for them to fully unlock their value. But to each their own, I guess. This is the breakdown of his two Chinese ads here. So JD.com, he bought an additional 75,000 shares, all right, bringing his total to 200,000 shares. Sizable 60% increase from the last quarter. All right, total now is almost $6 million in JD.com shares. The Alibaba holdings, he bought another 25,000 shares, bringing up to 75,000, which is a 50% increase over the previous quarter, and just to slightly edge it out, 5.81 million. So that is his largest individual holding right now, which is, as far as we can tell, all right, because obviously 13F rules, not everything has to be reported or disclosed publicly. I think this kind of highlights the emotion or sentiment around Chinese stocks right now. If you've seen headlines like this, right? This isn't the only one. There's a lot of them out there. But that the Chinese stocks are so disfavored right now that they may be having the 2008 moment, where basically I'm being really crass here, but during 2008, crash in the U.S. market, you could throw your dart at the bulletin board and end up with a stock that's going to go up 100%. Like that. That's how ridiculous it got to be. So far off from the foundation of value that these stocks should have.
And
Is
it
my thought.
just because Alibaba is his biggest holding. Sorry about my voice, guys. By the way, I had lost it. I was sick. But JD's second. So I mean, they're in the almost the exact same space. So when you look at his CVS holding, which was high, this is double when you add both those together. So, I mean,
Yeah.
sweet. His time, he is notoriously early, and he also leaves notoriously early. Like for instance, he was
Yeah.
a big buyer of Oxy at 25 and left at 30, and now
Hmm.
it's 60. That
Yeah.
was like a year and a half ago. So
Or the famous GameStop trend
GameStop.
too, right? Where he was out at 30 before it saw hundreds of dollars a share. This overall market indication for the Hang Seng Index here. Look at this, You're talking about the entire market being back to 2009 levels. So like calling it the 2008 moment for these stocks just actually makes more sense than you would think, even on like a deeper level there. Definitely a lot of opportunity. This is my most recent Alibaba earnings video, but I was calculating a 21% like free cash flow yield just from the trailing 12 months. Someone actually pointed out in the comments too that when I did the calculation, I completely ignored their asset value as far as like their investments, right? Don't forget they own things like Ant Group and things like
It's
that.
true.
I completely ignored that. And when you actually add that in, if you give them full credit for what they say it's worth, mind you, this is Alibaba's had a
China.
single digit percentage of return on invested capital, so not probably the best allocators of capital. But if you actually believe their face value, the return on invested cap, I mean their free cash flow yield here is like closer to like 50%. It's like
Oh my
absolutely
god.
insane. you know.
Would you buy
Um,
more? I'm gonna ask you that
no,
after this. Sorry.
no, no.
I'm gonna
It's
buy
all
more.
good. We all have our own risk tolerance. That's basically what my position is. I'm happy with. I will hold it ride or die. Unless the U.S. invades Taiwan or something seriously deteriorates with Alibaba's business fundamentals. Those
He
are my
meant
two kind of things that would cause me to sell the stock. Otherwise, everything right now is still green from my end.
he
Um,
meant China, if anyone's watching. You said if US invades Taiwan.
well, maybe. Yeah.
You think the US is gonna invade Taiwan? What? This
No,
is
no,
all
no, no,
new
no.
news to me.
No, absolutely ridiculous. I know, I know. These are like positions he closed out Stellantis, and I'm sorry, and Euronav, which is the auto retailer, I want to say, and then decreased his positions in Nexstar and Booking Holdings. Yeah, like I said, he's a very active trader. So what you make out of that, it's kind of up to you. But yeah, definitely interesting to see Michael Burry not only holding on to his Alibaba shares but buying more. So makes me a little more optimistic. Maybe we will actually see finally a bottom in Chinese equities.
Do you have any JD?
I do not.
I got 100 shares, but it's
Yeah.
such a low price. I might buy another couple hundred. I'm gonna buy another couple hundred. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's all I needed. I just needed some
That,
backup.
that was it. Slight
That's
push.
it.
Michael Burry bought it. It's good enough for Dylan.
Good
All
enough
right,
for
guys.
me. Smarter than I
Let us
am.
know what you think down in the comments down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Have a good one, guys.